Are you listening? It's got to be the title of this show. And it's just such a double edged sword on so many fronts in so many ways. Are you listening? And the reason why I say that is that sometimes we listen with too much with our ears and not so much with our eyes. And then when we listen, we got to listen with our ears, with our eyes. We got to listen with our brain. Meaning, we got to discern. We got to think about anything we hear, anything we see, and what we hear. We got to make sure what we hear is what we see, and what we see. The all three has to correlate. They has to equate. They have to be equal to each other. They has to balance out. And I'm looking like this, and I just got off the phone with my son in California, Carl Clark. I was talking about my nephew. I was talking about the Carlos Clark. Being sentenced life without parole, and the chain of custody of the drugs that they got was broken. The drugs were not found on him, but because he wouldn't take the plea deal, he was given life without parole by Judge Wright. And that's atrocious. He would not have done that to his own kind. And so when you start talking about people unfeeling or people not feeling what you feeling in, it's easy to say we all bleed the same, our blood's the same, and sometimes it's the same. We can be different colors and have the same blood type, but that doesn't mean that we think alike or we act alike. And that was bad for DeCarlo Clark to get that kind of sentence for possession of drugs that was not found on him, and the chain of custody was broken, meaning that Wilburn or the East Mississippi Drug Task Force did not come to the scene and get the drugs, nor did a Meridian police officer. These were officers with Meridian Community College, not trained to put drugs in custody, not trained, never arrested anyone for drugs or anything like that before. Yet Charles Wright took it upon himself to give this man life without parole, unfeeling, uncaring. And I want to go on and talk about the unfeeling and the uncaring. When judges sit in that seat, they become God. And it's not just white judges. We have black judges too, such as Dustin Markham. Dustin Marker, let me tell you what he did today. I'm going to talk about judges. I'm going to talk about two white judges first, and then I'm going to talk about a black judge. The two white judges I'm talking about, one I just talked about, that's Charles Wright. I'm going to talk about another judge too. These judges of Lauderdale County, that's going to be Judge Bailey. And then I'm going to talk about the judge in um, Shelby County. I don't have his name. I kind of wish that I had his name. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to minimize my window here so that you can continue to see me while I bring up some other things, because I want to be able to give you this judge's name. I know that you can still see me, and that's okay. And I want you to be able to see me. And I'm getting ready to come the camera back up. I'm gonna bring this up once it closes out. Uh, um, I'm going to close this window out, and the reason why I'm going to close this one, I know that you still can see me. I'm doing something else, and the reason why I'm doing something else is because I want to be able to pull this program up, and I want to be able to and it's not responding, and that's okay. But anyway, yes, it's coming up now. My son, Phoenix Holt, hired an attorney in Jefferson County, Alabama. I want to talk about him a little bit, and the reason why I want to talk about him is because what happened to him. My son was arrested in 2020, the same year my daughter Korea was died. In 2020, he picked up a sales charge of selling cocaine in Shelby County, Alabama. Now, y'all, to give you an idea about Shelby County and their mindset, it's Shelby County versus Holder that did away with race-based set aside for college admission, gerrymandering, not gerrymandering, but uh, drawing districts maps up for black people. It was Shelby County versus Holder. So you can look at that just to give you the kind of mindset that they have in Shelby County, Alabama. My son picked up another charge, sales of meth. And now understand these are allegations. Now, on the date that that they said that this second charge occurred, my son was in the hospital and have records of that. And older brother his was using his name. And so, wow, when my son was like about 12 and 13 and 14 and 15 years old, the older brother was using his name and getting away with it. So, but again, this son does not have a criminal record, graduated from Macadora High School. And if those of you don't know, Macadora High School is where Bo Jackson, Bo knows Bo Jackson graduated from Macadora High School. My son Phoenix graduated from there. So did my son Xavier, my son Octavius, my daughter Aaliyah, and my daughter as Arizona graduated from there. And either way, doesn't have a criminal record, never been in trouble before. And this is Judge Bostich out of Shelby County, Alabama. My son had a lawyer. The lawyer died July the 7th of this year. That lawyer name was John Michael Aaron, Aaron. He died. And this was my son's lawyer. Now, you understand it's your lawyer duty to let you know when you go to court and when you go to trial. Now, this here was obviously a white lawyer, not a black lawyer. And so my son was a candidate for drug court, meaning that if you've never been in trouble before and you perhaps maybe have a drug problem or use drugs or something like that, you can go to drug court. My son is a candidate for that. Now, again, these are allegations. And again, I'm just putting things in perspective for you so that you can understand. And either way, my son's lawyer died July the 7th of this year. My son was supposed to go to court on October the 2nd of this year. He didn't go. He did not know because his attorney died. Now, how did my son find out? My son called the clerk, Shelby County clerk, October the 13th of this year because he had a background check done on him so that he can get a job at the foundry up here in Jefferson County, Alabama. And so he was checking on that. And the lady told him, say, you didn't come in court. And he said, well, my lawyer died. And he had no way of knowing. The clerk tells him, white clerk, just write a letter to the judge and explain the circumstances to you. And I'm sure that the judge will reset your case. And this is what my son did. I'm reading, dear Judge Bostic, in reference to the above, and the reference is his name and the case numbers. And this is to the Shelby County Courthouse on October the 13th. I'm writing this letter to inform you that my attorney, John Michael Aaron, in the above style causes, passed away July the 7th, 2023. Therefore, I currently do not have an attorney to represent me on my cases. In addition, I called your clerk today to check on my case, and I was informed that I missed court on October 7, 2023. This letter is to inform you that it was not intentional, and that since my lawyer's passing, no one informed me. I will continue to check with the clerk to ensure that I do not miss any other court dates. As I stated, I have not hired another attorney, but I will do so as soon as I have enough money to do so. Thank you, Judge Bostic. Respectfully submitted, Phoenix Hope. Now, folks, understand what Judge Bostic, when he got this letter. So my son called back to the clerk a few days ago, and the clerk informed him that the judge got your letter. And the judge made a warrant for your arrest and say he's going to lock you up and keep you in jail until your court date. Now, see, folks, now here again. Now, Judge Bostic would not do that to a white kid. There's no way any of you out there in podcast land that can make me believe that Judge Bostic would do that to a black kid. And so I'm fixing to downsize this window now, and I'm fixing to come back in. Now, I can see myself now, and I couldn't see you. But I knew you could see me because I kept my camera up, and this is bad. And so I want y'all to put your comments up, and that's what I wanted to tell you. This is what they do. This is what they do when they're dealing with us. They don't have that feeling. If they can go and they can take animals free and put them in a cage, if they can take and hang you by your neck until you dead and cut your balls off, how is it that they feel? If their ancestors did that to us, we never done that to them. If their ancestors, now some of you out there are not gonna like what I'm saying. Now, not all of you like that. There's some good folks out there, white folks, and there's some badass black folks out there. It's some Negroes that I will not have any dealing with at all. It's just like the Democratic Party. I no longer claim to be a Democrat. I no longer affiliate myself with the Democratic Party. I'm not supportive of the Democratic Party. I'm supportive of candidates, the most qualified candidate, any candidate. But I can tell you all the problems that I've had have emanated from black people. All the problems that I had emanated from black mothers. All the problems I had emanated from from black Democrats. The judge in Meridian City Court now is a black Democrat. Now I understand that judges are nonpartisan, but I know that Dustin Markham is a Democrat. I also know that Charles Wright, while he's nonpartisan, a practicing Republican. And the same thing with Judge Bailey, practicing Republican. And the same way with Judge Bostic. These here, this is Shelby County. These are three white men that are unfeeling, in my opinion, when it comes to black people. And yes, they done things for certain black people, some that probably benefit. But I can tell you, Charles Wright benefited from the fact that I sent I sent Michael Land to him, and he made tens of thousands of dollars. Charlie Powell brother, they made tens of thousands. Probably he made $250,000 off the clients that I've sent here. Claude Evans, Michael Land, Charlie Powell, Rodney Powell, Rod Powell. Those are just a few. I've sent so many people to him, and then myself to him, and for him to have any kind of animosity toward me now is wrong. And then I'm not wronging him. I'm not saying anything about him. He ruled against me, but he ruled inside of the law. Now, he said on my case in March of 2021, when I was asking him to intervene on these charges that I have against me, that it took another a year and a half before they was finally dismissed by Cassie Coleman. And I really appreciate that. That's one thing I can say, is this here is a white female Republican that has done things for me and not against me. This is another white Republican that stepped out there and ordered an investigation through the state troopers when Percy Bland would not do so, because he had his feelings on his sleeve and he was trying to stay in office. So he wasn't trying to do anything when my daughter, in my opinion, was murdered in 2020, one of the worst days of my life. And I can just tell you, and then to be uncaring is for my baby, my baby mother, on the same day that my daughter was killed, that she schemed and plotted with others and charged me. And to this day, I'm still fighting this charge of domestic violence, and it should not be so. How can a mother, that's what I said, black mothers, how can a black mother be so evil to a good daddy? I'm not no deadbeat dad. I'm a hands-on dad. All of you out there know me. I know I'm a good dad. I'm hands-on. I do all I can to make sure I will feed my children before I feed myself. I will clothe my children before I clothe myself. I put children first. I am a good daddy. I'm hands-on. Once I found out that Aurelia was my daughter, I did everything I can. This same person put sending, receiving, and possession of child pornography charges on me, on Loretta Bennett, her first cousin Tia Terrell, and then her sister Million Dean, and then tricked her to the police station. So I don't feel bad because she did that to me. Look what she did to other family members. Let me tell you who she didn't do it to. Another person received those same pictures, that the video that me and Lo received. Waukesha Allen, social worker for the state of Mississippi, her mother, Glenda Deans, and her great aunt, what they call Brenda Fox, because she's never been married. These are three people that received it, but they didn't get charged. So you call about talking about selective enforcement. So I filed a almost right at $50 million lawsuit against the Meridian Police Department, the city of Meridian, and then Chief Reed, then Rochester Anderson, Brandon Fireplace. They should not be a police officer at all. I don't care what anybody say. If you're so damn desperate to hire police officers, you're gonna get ones that'll do corrupt, crooked, evil shit. Then you got a problem, in my opinion, with having the right people in place. Damn it, we need to get the right people in there so that we can have the right people. There's some good officers with the Meridian Police Department. Not all of them qualified to be in the positions they're in, but there's some good officers at the police department, and I know some of them. But I know the bad ones also, and those are two bad ones that do not need to be at the Meridian Police Department. And I'm gonna tell you that. And I kind of like went off on a tangent a little bit, but I got to tell y'all what Dustin did to us today. Now, when on my birthday, and I said that shit was intentional because I put those complaints against him and against John Howard. No, I'm not gonna go into detail and talk about it because the law forbids me to talk about it once I file those complaints, but I did file them. And so Dustin had on my birthday, which is October the 9th, and you know, you don't know my birthday because it's public record. So he had had me come to trial and my niece. They ain't never, when somebody commit a crime, they usually it's about 2 weeks before they had a preliminary hearing. Dustin had the preliminary hearing that Monday, which was my birthday. And so you're talking about in 4 days. And then when everybody go there, he scheduled it for the 26th, which is today, folks. And so everybody go there today, and then the officer come outside and telling us that we misunderstood that it's not the 26th, but it's the 30th. And that's what some bullshit, folks, because if they had wanted to change it, an honorable person would have came out and said, hey, look, the case have been postponed until the 30th of January. But here, see, you got people taking off of work. You got me coming from Birmingham, Alabama. But it just wasn't the whole family that was, I would say, put off by this, by the judge's action. It was also the Mitchell family because they was there too. And so I immediately asked, look, now we ain't made no mistake. How is that both families made a mistake? And right now we have what you call an adversary relationship. They want justice for their father, their brother, and their family member. And what we want is we want to ensure that justice be received for our niece and our daughter and our sister and our family member. That's what we want. So you talking about opposing parties. They're both, all of us down there. So you talking about an uncaring. What the hell is Justin doing that's so damn important that he couldn't bring his ass to court? You got the judge pro tem. Yeah, you ain't got to sit on every case. You got the judge pro tempore that could have came also. But the thing of it is that you could have contacted somebody and told a lawyer to get in touch with the family members. You got everybody's number. Hey, do not come today. It's been changed to the 30th. So we all know this shit until the last hour. So you got somebody again. I reiterate, I'm going to do all I can, Dustin Markham. I'm going to do all I can for you to be a one-term judge. Now, I want Jimmy Smith to be re-elected mayor. But damn it, Jimmy, you can't bring Dustin on board. He's too young. He's in his feelings. He done some shit. I can bring a whole list of shit where he's helped people that he know. I can bring a whole list of shit, the things that he's done as a lawyer. But how about we ain't got to do that? How about I just get a petition signed with 1,000 registered voters in the city of Meridian that want his ass gone? Now, setting $1 million bond, Mayor Smith, I'm talking to you. Setting $1 million bond for murder is reason enough for his ass to be up out of there. Once you appointed him, he gave a news interview on WTOK saying anybody commit murder, he gonna set $1 million bond. It's got to be something wrong with his reasoning right there, because that's basically, it's a violation of their constitutional right, a right to a reasonable bond. Nobody does this for Dustin Markham. And so he's messing with me and my family. It's okay, Dustin. At the end of the day, we don't need your ass, you need us. Because any democracy means temporary job. Mayor Smith, if he's not elected, you lose that job. Mayor Smith is not going to give up his job so you can stay there playing God yourself. Now, I'm going to tell you, folks, let me tell you what, in my opinion, the reason why Dustin did not have that hearing today, because he know my podcast today. Oh, yes, I'm going to castigate, and I'm doing it anyway. It doesn't matter, Dustin. I can have a special podcast at any time. But here's what, folks, because he already got it in his mind to bound my niece over to the grand jury. He's never, ever not went according to the law. And I don't see how, you knowing who your dad is and you knowing where your dad had come from. Your dad had come from before where I came from. Your dad is older than I am. So we seen things that you'll never get a chance to see. And here you are making a mockery of all of that. And you go into the courtroom for a look at him. I already told y'all, and I'm no longer a member of the Democratic Party. I've already told y'all that most of all the good things that happened for me has always been white folks who did it. But damn it, it bothers the fuck out of me to go in his courtroom. That's his courtroom. And everybody in there white but his ass. Now that's some bullshit, folks. Now, Jimmy, you ought to do something about that. The senior judge appoint the judge pro tempore or pro tem, what they call it, which in this case is John Howell. Need to go. Been there too long. Now I want y'all hear Too Bell talking to me. Too Bell, can I ask you one question? How is it that you always talking to me when I get going? Hear what Tube Bell told me. He said, bro, you said young people need it. And I agree with that. Young people need it. Old folks need to step down. John Howell need to go. He can't hardly stand up. His health is bad. He need to go. He need to go home. I'm sure he's a millionaire. Been there long enough to be a millionaire. Folks, but Dustin the young man, that was Tube Bell saying, bro, you saying, say what you're saying, say you're saying one thing and doing another thing. Tube Bell always keeping me straight. Then you got the Tube Bell fans. Y'all know who the Tube Bell fans is. These are people that correct me like Tube Bell do when I be saying they won't let me tell my story from nothing in the world. So let me get Tube Bell. I got this. Yes, young people do need to do that, but not when they think that they know more than you. Not when they're not going to rule according to the law. Now, Dustin, your system has failed. There's been more murders under the Smith administration than it has been under any other administration since it's been administration in the city of Meridian. So your system has failed. $1 million bond does not deter crime. It has not worked. What deter crime is putting policies in place, giving our folks something to do. Now, I'm going to tell you something else he did that was atrocious. And folks wasn't making me bring this up again. I've talked about it, but I got to talk about it again. Now, you had a person that killed 16 people when I read it this morning up in Maine at 2 different places, 4 miles apart. Now, they already created an excuse for him. He has a mental issue. He has a mental problem. Yes, he used to teach weapons in the military, 40-year-old or however old he is. A white person. See what I said? I told y'all that. Anytime one of us commit a crime, we get charged with murder. We can't stand our ground. Here it is, Mississippi's a stand your ground state, but we can't stand our ground. They look for every reason. They looking for all kind of ways. Create lies. Lie, do all kind of shit so that the stand your ground law is not applicable to black folk. They know what they're doing. I know it. Y'all hear that. Now I got another friend. He a white friend of mine. He's in that Eddie done lost his damn mind. But y'all created that shit. So I'm talking to my white friend now. Y'all created that shit. Y'all have a 2-tier system in America. We have an education system for white folks, but they learn the geometry. They learn the trigonometry. They learn the calculus. They learn all the sciences and the biological sciences and all the math and all the algebras, whereas black folks are learning arithmetic. They learning social studies, social science. They learning art and language. They learning all this bullshit that's not going to get them into medical school, not going to get them in an Ivy League college or a good college. When you look at a person that graduate from Meridian Public School or Birmingham Public School, you're looking at a person, they can graduate with honors. And that's like about a D level at a school such as like, we can sell them all. Or we can say such as Oak Grove or such as Hoover High. Man, those are college prep schools. These are schools that prepare children for the future. And so our children already set up for fail. Oh, whoa. My white friend said, you done lost your damn mind. No, I hadn't lost my mind. You a Tube Bell fan because you ain't let me tell my story either. But I'm finna tell you something else that y'all ain't gonna like. The Stand Your Ground law was designed also to kill us off and put us in jail. Because every Negro, every ignorant nigga you see got a damn gun. Now you got some smart, intelligent black folk. Yes, I said nigga and I said black folks that have a gun and they know how to manage it intelligently. They're using it for protection only and home defense. They're not using it to walk around and go and kill and start shit with other black folks just to blow their brain out. So see, y'all set that system up. I'm talking to my white friend now. Y'all set that system up. Y'all know that black folks were ignorant. They would listen to all that damn rap music and they were gonna start killing it. See, now I gotta say, white folks smarter than us, Tube Bell. They smart enough. They set up a situation. Now we already doing bad because we're bottom feeders. We at the very, very bottom of the socioeconomic strata. We're not even low class. We're subclass. We're up under that. And I said I'm being inclusive. And everybody come in, they eat off us. If you want to know, we ain't even the carrions on the road. We're not the buzzers. We're not the crows that's eating the dead meat. We are the dead meat. We feeding every damn body. Even the fucking buzzers eat off us. And that's sad. And we're consumers. Man, hold up. Tube Bell said, what the fuck? Consume mean eat. Consume means we are the ones that go out and buy all this expensive stuff. I'm so glad my boys go to a majority white school. I'm so glad that they're going to Oak Grove Middle School and Oak Grove Elementary, which is almost all white. I think it's about 10 blacks in the whole school on both sides. When one of my sons said that he doesn't have any blacks in his class, there's no Mexicans at the school at all. And my other son said there's 2 blacks in his class. Too bad you ain't gonna let me talk. Is he ain't gonna let me talk, y'all? Too bad in my ear again, talking about, bruh, you what you're saying now? You're talking about black folk. Man, I want the best for my, like anybody. I want the best for my children, and it appears that the best for my children for them to be in a majority or an all-white school. I went to UAB. I got a superior education. To emphasize that is that I worked at Glenwood Mental Health when I got out of UAB, when I graduated from UAB, which is a residential treatment facility that deal with emotional and conflicted children. And I worked there 6 months, and I got a job with the state of Alabama. And one of my colleagues asked me, how did I get a job there? She had been on the waiting list for 3 years. She graduated from Alabama State. I graduated from UAB. Enough said. Alabama State is an all-black college, especially at that time. A matter of fact, when I'm the one that put Rosa Parks on Alabama State. Y'all can go to the internet and Google Rosa Parks on Alabama State. I did that. Boy, I'm the one that did the stone part. I put the stone part for the marble to go on, and McDowell did the bus. But I'm the one that put it in the ground and all that. And at that particular time, I think they had about 1 white students there. You know what the irony in this is that if a white person go to an all-black university or a traditional black university such as Jackson State, they don't have have to pay tuition. But if we go to an all-white university, we got to pay tuition. Talk about double standard, and then maybe that's changed. But once last time I checked, it had not changed, and that's sad. It should never been that case. If they could go to our college free, we should be able to go to their college free. But there you go again. And folks, I gotta talk about this. I got to talk about this. I talked about the judges, but I got to talk about Israel. Man, what do y'all realize that we are being bamboozled? The whole world is being bamboozled. Why are we protecting Israel? Why? What is it so special about Israel that we are protecting Israel? Why is it that we're spending so much money? We're already trillions of dollars in debt, but we're going to go and fight a war that we really can't afford to fight? But what's the purpose of us fighting? Why are we fighting in Israel? Why is it that Israel is so bloody? Well, white folk, look what they did to the slaves. It's in their nature to do that. And so for those of you that didn't know, I told it to my brother yesterday. He did not know that Israel didn't become a country into 1947, if I'm mistaken. I think May the 17th, somewhere like 1946, not 47. Either way, Israel, you had a Bible, and they're always talking about Israel. And so when World War II ended, the way of paying back the Europeans, the white Europeans, for supporting them and financing the war, they went into Africa. Yes, Africa. And the Palestinians was there and took that land from them. So there you understand about the Gaza Strip. And so now they've already caught that. Oh, Jerusalem now is in Israel. You know, Jerusalem in the Bible. The Bible only book they use to substantiate itself, meaning there's no evidence of that. Just some very good stories in the Bible. I ain't trying to start that Tubel fans, you Christians out there. I'm not trying to start anything, but they're just stories created in 325 by Constantine. I think it's the Treaty of Versailles. I think Versace, however you want to say it. Actually, it was a year later. And what they did is they paid all the religious people money. They used money to bring them all together and pay them to come up with one Bible, which is the Bible. But it was illegal for you. The Catholic does not, even to this day, they do not believe in divorce. You can't divorce a wife when you're married. And so if I'm not mistaken, it's Henry VIII could not have boys. And so he kept chopping them women head off. And so he divorced. And so he started the Protestant church, protesting Catholicism. When he started that church, so many people left the Catholic church because they wanted to divorce that the Catholic church started losing money. And so they made it illegal to eat meat on Fridays. You could only eat fish. Yes, you heard it right. Yes, I know you already figured out. They own all the fish markets. They made so much money they built Vatican City. To this day, it's the richest city in the world. And even to this day, if you go around all over Western societies, and you'll see that they sell fish. Y'all see my little pretty dog? Boy, she just came in here. Come here, girl. Let them see you. Let them see it. This is Takani. She's about 3 months old. Hey, girl. Hey, girl. She's about 3 years old. Let them see you. Let them see. Look, 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 look. She's a Siberian Husky with blue eyes. She's 3 months old, and it means wolf. But anyway, folks, I'm gonna let Q talk. Well, I guess Q gonna come and get the dog. But either way, I wanted to talk about that, but we should not be over there. It's sad that with so many people there, and I'll say that the take her out. It's sad that so many people are being killed, and Hamas is smart. What Hamas showed is the double standard of America. Now the Russians are not doing what the Israelis are doing, what they're doing in Israel. Look how many tens of thousands of people that they're killing. Look how they are destroying the whole city, and they all got they underwear all bunched up in their behind. And I gotta say this to my wife friend: why not you not saying anything about that? Well, these are people of color. These are Palestinians. The Palestinians just want their land, and actually, the Nile River that they talk about in Africa, I think it goes through Iraq. All of these stuff is part of Africa. If you go back and look at Africa, which is not a country, it's a continent. If you go back and look at Africa, these little countries was chopped off from Africa. And so again, to substantiate the Bible, they created Israel, and also, and so these are the kind of things that you gotta educate yourself. You gotta do cross reference, and you go out and look. So I'm going to look at my notes now because I want to make sure I talk about everything. I just want to tell y'all about. I got off a tangent when I was talking about the violence in Meridian, how they created a two-tier system. We carried a gun, and when we stand our ground, the only person I know that was able to stand their ground, and that was Lee Clark, the late Lee Clark brother, ended up killing Manfield's son, and they kept him in jail 3 days, and they let him go. It happened at his house, and he stood his ground. And so, but everybody else that I know that if a black person or killed a black person, they don't even they do all they can to do away with that, and that's sad. It's unfortunate anytime a black person is killed, and my condolences go out to any family member that lost someone. And my grandson was shot in the ankle, and that's unfortunate. When I think his name Josie Rogers was killed, shot multiple times at Legends Club, outside Legends Club. And so my condolences to his family. I know what it's like to lose a child, because I lost my child, my daughter Korea. And folks, I can tell you that you won't never be the same when you lose a child. My son Trey Clark, I was talking about that. He lost his son 19 years ago. He had a son, the vehicle, a tire came off the vehicle, it flipped, and it landed on his son. And so that was traumatic. And the funeral was right here in Birmingham. My grandson is buried not too far from where I am now. And my son called me last night telling me that, Dad, I didn't want to call you. He said I had to make sure my son was okay, but my grandson was shot in the head. 20 years old, was shot either on this side or that side, and it came out. I know my son told me it came out the left side of his head. The bullet did it. It went straight through, and he's still like sedated, semi in a coma. He's able to respond and do a little talking, but he's going to have like reconstruction surgery and things like this. And this is what's sad. And yes, it hurt me. It bothers me because that's me. That's my blood. The only way we can live for others through our children and our grandchildren. We can't live forever ourselves. And so, so yes. And so some of you probably hearing it for the first time, and I heard it. And so my son Trey out in California is really catching. You know, that was Rico's brother, and so he done lost. That's Korea's brother. So he done lost a brother, a sister. He lost his son first, and that hurt. I seen my son. I seen his soul screaming, and then like he couldn't even come to us, so we came to his brother. Man, they grew up together, man. Gardena, Hawthorne, California, man. They grew up together, man. They from here. They were born here, and Gail took them out in California. And so yeah, that's family. And so now that bothers me. And I don't even like it that my grandson was shot in the leg. And definitely my condolences to the Rogers and Vicky and her family, her daughter. You know, and he had children. My condolences to them. And there's no way you can ever get over something like that. And it's sad that what we're doing is doing it to each other. And we got to do better because we can't to and I gotta say this, folks. I could have went to social media and put this on Facebook. I didn't. I'm talking about this on my podcast, and but and I'm talking to my family. I'm talking to you. I hope that by some of the things that I say here today can instigate changes. And I read this somewhere, so I want to say this, and I know this. Who are you talking to when you're on Facebook? Who are you talking to when you're on Snapchat? When you're on Twitter, X, Tumblr, all those things, Instagram, who are you talking to? No one cares about you individually. No one cares about you individually, but your family. And sometimes they don't care about you either. So who are you talking to? Who are you talking to? I just thought that I'll say that. And when I was talking about Israel, um, and of course, I read this too, so I'm gonna read this to you. Religion is one big lie. Um, Let us pray. Another big lie. What difference has it made? Most people are born rich and they stay rich by keeping you poor. Remember that. Precious Lord, take my hand. Lead me on. Let me stand. All of you out there know that song. My aunt, she's 97, almost 98 years old, was singing that song. And then I said, well, I said, I said, who you talking to? She said, I'm talking to Jesus. I said, well, are you ready for Jesus to come and get you and take you to the promised land? She said, Jesus? I said, Auntie. I said, are you ready? You hear people tell me, I can't wait to go to heaven. I can't wait to go to heaven. Go wait to die so I can go to heaven and see Jesus. And guess what my aunt told me? Her in her dementia said, no, I ain't ready to go yet. So you sing all that stuff. It sound good and make you feel good, but are you really ready? She said, no, she ain't ready. Here my aunt, 97, going on 98 years old. She said, she ain't ready. Folks, I gotta talk about my brother Fred's case. Fred's case was no process today. And I talked to you before about where they wanted him to sign papers, but they would not dismiss it. They wanted to dismiss it he wanted it dismissed with prejudice, but they wanted to dismiss it without prejudice. And so he actually called his lawyer yesterday. He was really kind of upset because there wasn't no record. He tried to get his records, and he went to Kemper County, and all his records was gone from there to the DA's office. And of course, so he called in him and Denson. He wanted to go see Judge Bailey, and he wanted to see the Honorable Cassie Coleman. And so Cassie won't be back until Monday. He said, give me an hour, Mr. Welch, and we'll go down there together. And of course, in that hour, in my opinion, it's just me speculating too, Bill, is that what happened was is that they got on the phone. Either way, he got a paper today signed by the judge and Cassie Coleman dismissing this case. So I'm ecstatic about that. So Fred's case was dismissed, but what the sticker in it is that it's dismissed without prejudice, meaning that it can be brought up again or that somebody can go. And I don't think they'll do that. I think that's a way of them protecting themselves. I'm gonna bring Q on in a minute and let her talk to y'all. Q, is there anything you want to say? You know I can see you. Anything you got to say to the people? Shake your head up or down. She ain't got nothing to say, but I'm gonna let her say hello to you guys. Q, get ready. Talk to the people. Is that all you can do? Is where they can hear you?
I
I
mean,
can hear you, but they can't.
I guess. Hey, I mean, y'all ain't see
Oh, I
me.
can't hear you a little bit.
Yeah.
All right then. Well, I'm fixing to yeah, I can hear you. Well, slap me with a brick and eat some biscuits. Back you.
I'm back.
I want to say this is that I I just hope that I think that some of you that are in office now should not be in office. I want to tell you this is that my wife and I we're supportive of Wayman Newell, and we're asking our families and our people to vote for Wayman Newell for Supervisor District 2. I can just tell you this is that one thing about white folks: when they for you, they for you. They ain't gonna be ashamed to be with you nowhere. They ain't gonna be ashamed to talk to you nowhere. One thing I can say is that Wayman Newell is invited just about to any church in District 2, and they treat him up in there like family. So I just want to encourage you all to vote. The vote is coming up pretty fast. Probably about another, not Tuesday coming up, but the Tuesday after that. And of course, we'll be in Meridian Monday. We got to come back Monday because Dustin Mark wants us to come back down there. That's all right. It ain't no fun when the rabbit got the gun now. But when the hunter got the gun, it's a lot of fun for the hunter, but it ain't no fun. Now I ain't talking about, understand, folks. Let me reiterate. This is not a threat to Dustin Mark or anything like that. Metaphorically speaking, is that yeah, he got the gavel in his hand now, but it ain't gonna be no fun when somebody else got the gavel in their hand and things like that. And I want to encourage you folks out there, if Dustin Markham done done something to you and you feel like it wasn't right, put a judicial performance complaint against him. Go and talk to Jimmy Smith about it. Mayor Smith, again, I'm asking you to find you another judge, find you two other judges, and put some color in that courtroom, man. You know that courtroom is just too white, Jimmy. That ain't right, now, Jimmy. It was like that when we were little children in Meridian, Mississippi. Of course, we didn't go in that courtroom, but even when you became a police officer, it was like that, and it shouldn't be like that now. I've been in that courtroom. I've been in Meridian City Court so many times, and I've always see that. And it's sad to see that you have. I know that there's some qualified black people somewhere. It gotta be it. Come on now. I know some qualified black people somewhere, Dustin. Come on now. Put some people in, put some color in there. And I ain't trying to knock nobody for making them money and everything. But I gotta talk about the Mexican people. They seem like the Mexican people. Everybody coming here seem to be smarter than black people. We let them come in here and they took over the yard work. Now they done took over the trades. Y'all know what I mean by trades. We talking about building houses, bricking, bricklaying, sheetrock, painting, electrical, HVAC, plumbing, whatever it is to do without it, took that over. Now they're moving into our neighborhoods. They're coming to our neighborhood. They're doing what they have done with downtown Meridian, downtown Fifth Street. Once they move us out and they come in, then the property the value goes up. The Mexicans doing the same thing. Why is it that everybody appears to be smarter than us? Well, folks, I want to thank y'all for listening in and everything. And the reason why I say that, this kind of like an impromptu show, ad lib, is that the Mexicans come into the neighborhoods, black communities, and they buy these houses for $2,000 or $3,000, and they go in there and they fix them up. And I tell you something else too that I see them do. When you see a plumber, then you see about 8 or 9 or 10. When you see a roofer, you see 8 or 9 or 10. When you see a carpenter, the ones that do the framing or a framer, you see 8 or 9 of them or 10 of them. They come in and they'll frame up a house where it'll take a one person or a 3-man crew. It'll take them, say, a month, 2 months, 3 months to do it. They'll come in and frame up a 5,000 square foot house. They'll do it in 3 weeks because they got 10 people that are working. They'll charge you $35,000, but they'll have that house built in 3 weeks. And so that's one thing I say that they've done. So they took what we did, and when I say we, I'm mean inclusive, you two white folk. They took what we did, where we have a 3-man crew, and they come in with a 10-man crew. They'll come in and do a whole riffing job, tear off and replace in one day, and haul off in one day because they got 10 of them. They'll do the same thing with sheetrock. They'll come in there and they'll go through a house, a regular size house. We're talking about 1,800 square foot house. They'll go through it in one day because they got 10 of them that's in there working. Wow, how they able to do that? Well, they had their cousins, their brother, and everybody working with them. Everybody's skilled. Those that ain't skilled, they pass and they do things. But one thing I can say about the Hispanic community is they're very, very astute, and I like what they're doing. You can learn a lot from you can learn a lot from a person from another color. But it's ironic how we were first. But you know, that's one thing in the Bible said: the first should be last, and the last should be first. We were first, and now we're last. Y'all have a good evening. Thank you for watching. I see I don't have any comments, so let me just make sure. No, I don't have any comments, so I have